are more than 104,000 people in the country who need an organ transplant right now. This week is National Organ and Tissue Donor Awareness Week, a time where officials encourage you to be a donor. WGEM's Shakayla McCamick is joining us live outside of Blessing Hospital in Quincy. And Shakayla, what is Blessing doing to raise awareness locally?
Yes, Daniel. So today, people gathered here at Blessing Hospital to see the raising of the Gift of Hope flag. Now, Gift of Hope works with 180 hospitals nationally to procure donations and raise awareness of the importance of organ and tissue donation. Blessing Hospital is joining national efforts in trying to attract more willing donors to register to help save lives.
To honor our donors as they give the gift of life.
Every 10 minutes, someone is added to the National Transplant waiting list. Someone like Jim Clausius.
I'm alive and well because of this.
Who learned he was in need of a kidney transplant in 2015.
I think 100 is probably perfect kidney function, but I was down to 7.
But like many others, Clausius was added to the transplant waiting list where he sat waiting for a donor for 4 years. He says the wait wasn't easy for him emotionally, and his physical health took a toll each day he went without a transplant.
I would get fatigued sooner, okay? And then I was also having labs taken, so I was told which foods not to eat so I could last.
Shanna Winter helps chair Blessing's Life Team, a multidisciplinary organ and tissue group with the hospital. She says in her 13 years of experience, she's seen just how impactful someone's decision to become an organ donor can better the lives of so many.
That ability to give somebody else the gift of life in the most tragic of circumstances is so helpful to the families in their grieving process, and honestly so helpful to those nurses and other doctors and other healthcare providers that are caring for those patients.
Blessing Hospital, Gift of Hope, and one donor helped make Clausius' transplant possible in 2019.
My whole attitude has changed because when I mentioned this is a day the Lord has made, and it is my day. So I just enjoy the day and try to be helpful to people.
Since receiving his donation, Clausius strives to be a helpful member of society and encourages others to do the same. And Clausius continues to help his tri-state community members by volunteering right here at Blessing Hospital 3 times a week. You can find my extended interview with him on WGEM's Smart TV streaming app. Live in Quincy, Shakayla McCamick, WGEM News.
Thank you, Shakayla. And you can find additional resources and information to confirm your donor status on our website, WGEM.com.